first guest here. We have AAHOA President CEO Laura Lee Blake. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank you, Matt, for inviting me. I love this.
Yeah, you know
Being
what?
in Miami, yes.
It's such a nice personal event, and I love what you've done with AAHOA. I've been to AAHOA. What an amazing event! Uh, Tell me more about AAHOA, and then I really want to know your story.
Okay. Well, as you may know, AHOA has nearly 20,000 members, and they own more than 60% of all hotels across the US. But what is so fascinating is I actually worked with AHOA for nearly 10 years before I came back in this role. But from 2005 to 2014, I served as a vice president and their legal or general counsel. And at the time, AHOA was smaller, and they were really trying to find their place and be the voice of Asian American hotel owners. And to then come back about 3.5 years ago as their president and CEO, what a joy to see how they've continued to grow and expand, and now to own more than 60% of all hotels. We are the largest hotel owners association in the world, and our members, they are such a tribute to the American dream. Most of them came over from India, from one state in India called Gujarat, and they came here to the States, many with just pennies in their pocket. And I've heard stories from our officers, our board members, different leaders, how maybe their family bought a little roadside hotel and they grew up as children in the hotel. After school, they could not go and do sports activities. They had to come home and make the beds and do the front desk. So, and then to see now their achievements is really, again, such a tribute to the American dreams, just smart business people. And to see all they've achieved, I'm just proud and honored to be part of this and to represent them. So thank you.
And what's really nice is that because you have such a large membership base, you could leverage that in terms of insurance and other things that you can do for business owners, as well as what you can do with governance. Is that correct?
That's correct. And so that is one of our challenges, of course, representing so many hotel owners who are truly small business owners. And so also, I'll share with you that last year was our 35th year anniversary. And it was the first time that we were largely responsible for having legislation introduced in DC. And this legislation, it's called the Lions Act, and it's to increase SBA loan limits, 7A and 504, from $5 million to $10 million. This had not been changed since 2010. We all know how prices have gone up since 2010. So we are in the process of working hard to get it passed. It's now been introduced in the Senate. So we're very hopeful that we might be able to accomplish that and really give our members, some additional access to capital. But, to your point, being in the hotel industry, right, they are often the targets of so many different things. And so that's one of just our constant challenges is how do we continue to use their size and scope to really, extend that voice to really make a difference so that we can protect the industry and also kind of promote all that they're doing.
So let's take a step back a little bit, and I want to know more about your story. So where you born, where you grew up, and how you got into this industry and excelled into the firm, and what you've done over the years to get to where you are now.
Yeah, so well, I grew up in a very small town in Iowa, northwest Iowa. It's called Sioux Center, Iowa. It's about an hour north of Sioux City, Iowa. But we had all of 5,000 people, right? But my father was a car dealer. So he had a small dealership, sold Pontiacs and Buicks in Sioux Center. And he was a General Motors franchisee. So I remember growing up and hearing stories of what it was like to be a franchisee, where one day he came home and he said that suddenly General Motors was requiring him to refresh his entire computer system And he had to spend thousands of dollars to buy a new system, go for 2, 3 days training. And he said to me, Laura Lee, why do I have to do this? It works perfectly fine. But, this was one of the mandates. And then I remember another time too, they came to him and they said he had to get a new sign in front of his building. And he said, oh my, but he said, okay. He said, well, where can I buy this sign? And they said, oh no, you cannot buy it. You have to lease it. And he said, lease it? And they said, well, yes, because they needed to do regular maintenance on it. So my dad leases this sign, and once a month, a man would drive across the state of Iowa, come to his dealership, go in front of the dealership, stand under the sign, look up, and say, looks good to me.
Wow.
And that was the maintenance. And my dad had to pay for that. So,
What a good cash cow for that, right?
Exactly.
All you have to do is hire somebody to go door to door and just make sure your sign is okay.
Exactly. So then I remember going to the National Automobile Dealers Association meetings. Now, General Motors would have big car conventions, and they would be in places like San Diego, Las Vegas, Miami, all these places around the country. And my father would take the whole family. And so I would go to the National Automobile Dealers Association meetings.
Oh.
And this was an association of car dealers. And I remember seeing these men on the stage in their, beautiful suits. And they would talk to the members about what they were doing on their behalf, how they were advocating for them, the benefits they were providing to the members. And at one point, I leaned over to my dad and I said, Dad, you should be up there.
Right.
And he said, oh no, Laura Lee. He said, they will never listen to a small dealer from Iowa. And I thought, someday I want to be on that stage representing the small business owners, the small dealers, the small members in small towns that otherwise thought they did not have a voice.
So how did you go from the car business, which is not your forte because it was your father's,
Correct.
into the hotel industry?
Yes. So this was, I actually decided to go to law school and I graduated. So I went to law school again in Iowa, but then moved out to Southern California, first with a big international firm and then with a boutique litigation firm. And at one point, for family reasons, I ended up moving to Atlanta to be near my family.
Okay.
And I had an opportunity to go to another law firm, but I had 2 babies at home. And I thought, I love the practice of law, worked very long hours, but really wanted to find something different, find something I could work in-house. And at the time, AAHOA had an opening, and it was for, like I said, vice president and general counsel. So I accepted that, figuring I'll just work here for a year, maybe build my resume, and ended up loving it and staying for nearly 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So
what an amazing story. Going from a small town in Iowa to going to the big towns in Georgia, Atlanta, and other places, and now you're going almost international. I mean, I've seen you in so many different venues. Obviously, you had the AAHOA, which was down in where?
New Orleans.
And where is it going to be next year?
Philadelphia. And I'm so excited. I'll share with you. So our AAHOA is in Philadelphia next year. And it's just such a perfect venue because it's the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can't forget about that, right?
Exactly. And then to have AAHOA host its convention there. And like I said, it's such a tribute to the American dream, and then now to host the convention there.
And then on top of it, you're saying you told me recently you're going to DC.
Yes.
To revitalize some different programs there.
Yes.
For hotel industry, for the hotel owners, and being in Philadelphia where it pretty much all started. I got to take a picture of Liberty Bell with you.
Right. Yes, exactly. So, and for your viewers too, if they would like to see it, we actually have a video on YouTube if you want to check it out. And it's about the AAHOA Philadelphia convention. But we were recently at the White House and we showed it to the White House, and they were so excited by the video that they congratulated us on putting that together. And they're excited to help us kind of further promote AAHOA in Philadelphia next year.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes. So many great, you know, great success and achievements that are coming out of this. So it's
What
exciting.
I also heard from you is that you have a marketplace as
Yes.
well as the lending.
Yes.
And that sounds amazing, especially what's only been like 6 or 9 weeks that it's been
Correct.
launched.
Yes.
How much funding was it already?
Yes. So we just launched two things. One is called the AAHOA Marketplace, and this is for hotel owners that they can go. It's free of charge. They can sign up and they can see where they can get discounts. So you can compare like maybe your normal list of items that you need for your hotel. You can take the prices you're currently paying, go and compare them to the prices on the marketplace. And I would say at least 90 some percent of our members that have signed up said that yes, they're absolutely saving money on various items in the marketplace.
Okay.
Yes. And then we also just launched, to your point, the digital lending platform. And this is for owners that need additional access to capital. And so all they have to do is go on, you can sign up, and they will prepare all of the financial documents for you once you provide the information. And so there has already been, just in the last number of weeks, you know, millions of dollars that have been distributed and applied for. So we're really expecting that to
Okay.
continue to grow.
Okay.
So yes, it just benefits because we recognize the incredible challenges that so many of our members are under. You know, things right now, the economy is uncertain in some ways. There's tariffs that have hit them. Insurance rates have skyrocketed. There's still inflation. So everything that we can do to help them, you know, save a penny here or there, get the capital that they need, we are there behind the
So
scenes.
we're painting a picture here of a little girl in Ohio, Iowa,
Yes.
sorry, Iowa, with
Yes.
like dreams. I want to
Yes.
do these things.
Yes.
Becomes a successful lawyer.
Yes.
Now is successful at AAHOA, being the president and CEO.
Yes.
What's your next step? What else are you going to conquer in this world?
Well, that's a big question, isn't it? You know, there's the old quote that if you tell God your plans, he will laugh, right? So I'll
yes.
just kind of wait and see what doors of opportunity.
What a
might
great
open.
point.
Yes.
What a great point. Absolutely. So let's do a little plug, obviously, for AAHOA.
Right.
Why don't you tell our viewers how to get in touch with AAHOA?
Yes.
And of course, our next event that's in 2026. But
Yes.
I know you're talking about the HER
Yes. Ownership.
conference.
Yes.
Yes, HER ownership. Why
Yes.
don't you get a little plug on both of those?
Okay, excellent. So go to AAHOA.com, which is our website, and AAHOA is spelled AAHOA. It stands for Asian American Hotel Owners Association. So AAHOA.com. You can go there, you can check out the website. If you're a potential member and would like to be a member, you can sign up there. If you're a vendor and want to check out, you know, the opportunities for vendors, we have many vendors, industry partners, because we are unique along with NABHOOD, where, you know, the conference we're at now, where it's all owners, it's decision makers. So, you know, great benefits there. But we do have several big events coming up. One that I just love. This was initiated shortly after I joined AAHOA 3 years ago, but it's for women, and it's called the HER Ownership Conference. This year it's in Hilton Head, and we typically get 250 to 300 women. And this is a conference designed for women. It's really for women who want to own their first hotel, to take them through it so that they better understand how do you access financing? What are some of the steps? How do you make connections with different brands if that's what you want to do? It's for women who want to expand their portfolios, or for women who are looking for leadership opportunities, leadership development. We have that. We also have wellness sessions, because a lot of women too, we are working long hours and doing a lot, and we still have to take care of ourselves, take care of our families. So there's a lot of that involved. And then we always have a fun reception. So this year, being at Hilton Head, our reception is on the beach, and so we'll have a lot of just great, networking opportunities and fun while we're there too. So, would invite all of you to join. We are hoping to kind of blow the numbers out of the water this year, to use the water and surf analogy. So, would love to continue to grow this, because as we know, you have to network, to gather with women, to hear tips and to work together. What a difference we can make to have a woman's voice, influencing this industry. So please join us.
So let's conclude with one last thing.
Okay,
To
sure.
go back to a little more personal things. In your experience, what is the most amazing thing about this industry,
Right.
and maybe an occurrence or event that you've seen in recent times that's made you feel kind of empowered or enlightened, or like there's something changing in the marketplace, where we always talk about the things that are negative,
Sure.
and all the problems in the government, all the problems in society, but really comes down to we've really taken where we were and where we are now and where we're going is still such a positive thing.
Yes.
So
Right.
give me your view on it.
Well, I'll give you a couple different perspectives. I have a couple of views on this. So, one is one of the other associations out there that many of our members know about, or that many hotel owners know about, is the American Hotel and Lodging Association, right? And they recently brought on a new president and CEO, Rosanna Mayeda, and she is also a woman, of course. So I love it that two women are, working as the president and CEO of these two amazing associations dedicated to hotel owners. So, I mean, I see that as a very positive development. And another one, and this is maybe just more of a personal one, but behind the scenes, we work so hard to support our members, to host amazing events, like we talked about, AAHOA Con. It's often called the Super Bowl of the industry, and we bring thousands of members and vendors together to incredible venues. And it's just, there's nothing like AAHOA Con, right? It just kind of blows every other conference out of the water. But with all the work that we do behind the scenes, AAHOA, for example, we take groups to DC twice a year for different legislative events, to meet with members of Congress. The officers and we go to DC on a regular basis. But this year, and again, it's not a first per se, but yet we're starting to see change. And what I mean by that is we were contacted by the White House, and the White House invited us to come because they are promoting what's called the Great American Road Trip. And this is 250 sites across the United States that travelers can go and visit, because their motto is something like, you have to see the America to celebrate America, right? So they want people to celebrate all the amazing spots that we have in the US. And so we were invited to come and join and put together kind of a toolkit for our hotel owners who can help promote this, who can really kind of celebrate the 250th anniversary and what it means to be in this country and celebrate this country. And then shortly thereafter, our chairman, KP Patel, was contacted by the White House and was asked to join President Trump at a press rally about the One Big beautiful bill, right? Which we strongly supported for the tax relief for our members. So to now be contacted by the White House, you know, when AAHOA started 35 years ago with just 12 different founding fathers, and now that we're the stage,
And
right?
most important
Right,
part was, why was it founded in the first place?
right.
It was just so they could pool resources together to get the best insurance discounts.
Right,
The-
exactly, right.
Now we're back in
Yeah,
the same
full circle.
full circle. We're looking for the
Exactly,
same thing.
exactly. So it's amazing how the more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Absolutely.
But just kind of so proud and honored to be part of this movement, right? And then to join, and I'll put in a little plug for NABHOOD too, because to join and partner with NABHOOD, they are doing so much on behalf of African American owners, and then to collaborate, you know, it turns diversity, it's not just a buzzword, it's really a business strategy that succeeds. So we are so proud to stand with them, represent minority hotel owners, and just represent the industry, just elevate the industry across the board.
And what's
So,
nice is KP actually said something really nice, that he said this is not just about one individual background or where you're from or who you are. It's everybody in total,
yes,
and the whole hotel industry as a whole.
correct. Yes,
So,
yes,
you know,
exactly.
we're
Yes.
celebrating here. We're celebrating here with Laura Lee Blake, and I thank her for being on the Top Keys. Any final words
Well,
for
and
the
thank
viewers?
you, Matt, for inviting me. But you know, it was like I said, it's an honor to be here, but also to represent the industry and for everyone out there that is an owner. You know, it doesn't matter if you're Asian American or if you're African American. You know, it doesn't matter what corner of the world you come from, or if you call from a small town in Iowa like I do. You know, come and join us. There's a power that when we actually all work together and we unify and we focus on, you know, things like entrepreneurship and generational transfers and economic empowerment. There's so many things that we can do together. So come celebrate, you know, let's cheer each other and let's take this to the next level. So thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Very nice. Thank you again for being on the Top Keys.